Remember that whole spiel I went off during the last video and in the description about NU or PU? This is why I didn't say and or. No double header options. This is about as long as the double header itself with all the after turn effects and stuff. It was a really good game, don't get me wrong, but I'm not making a 20-minute battle video for you guys anytime soon. I'm sorry. I don't have that kind of patience, you know. I was really close to deleting this video in itself because it was that long. But I figured, you know what? We'll give it a shot. We'll see how many takes this shit takes me. And we're just gonna go and jump right into it. But it's an NU match against Shroomtastic. The weird thing is PU had more comments, but NU had more thumbs on just one individual comment overall, because I guess you guys are too lazy to type out the letters NU. Whatever, that still kind of counts to me. So I didn't really even bother checking. It was like half and half. So I was like, you know what, we'll just do NU, because a lot of people are just like, no, PU's not an official tier, grumble, grumble, mumble, mumble, and stuff like that. So I figured I might as well just get an NU match going on. For now, it's pretty tame in terms of what plays are going on. There's a lot of double switches in the beginning of the game, I can tell you that right now, though. We're both going to set up our rocks. I decided to switch out to War Turtle on the same turn he switches out to Garbodor, and then I'm going to go for the Scald on the same turn he switches out to Mischievous. Now let me just say that this thing gives me trouble, like, throughout the entire fucking game, because I don't know if it has a status move on its set, and it's for that reason that I'm scared to set up on it with Altaria. That, and we learn later that it has Perish Song. That's maybe slight spoilers for later on, but you know what, I don't really care, because I haven't scouted out its set, and I don't have any answers for it right now. So that's actually the main thing I want to take out, because it is a spin blocker, and I have like 3 pokes weak to Stealth Rocks on this thing. So in order to rapid spin, I need to get rid of the Ghost, which is pretty obvious. Oh, also, that play right there where I missed the Focus Blast, not really significant to the outcome of the game, but it really is one that would have benefited me a lot more if I had prior damage on this thing, and you'll see why a little bit later in the game as well. But here's another, you know, Stealth Rock weak poke, excuse me. Shit. So, he switches in his Garbodor right now. Cool thing is I get my Orb activated. I've been really meaning to switch this over to Toxic Orb, because, like, it's not like my Swallow stays in for more than 3 turns anyway, unless it's endgame. And Flame Orb just kind of hurts it overall, because I kind of expect, oh yeah, I'm going to keep this thing in more than 3 turns. That usually really doesn't end up happening until endgame, and I just kind of slapped a lot of dudes together and decided to bring them. And it actually is working out pretty good, as you can see by the video length. But I decided to switch out to Altaria. I think there was some kind of double switch shit going on right there. I don't really understand. But he switches out to his Mischievous. I believe I decided to go for the Earthquake there. I guess that was a really obvious play. I don't really care, because I do want to start taking pokes out. Had I gone for the Outrage, predicting it, that would have been cool. But he could have just switched out to Probopass the next turn. As you can see, Outrage is not really doing a whole hell of a lot of damage. I think this is max HP, max defense, and it takes hits so disgustingly well. I should have learned from my battle with Joey that I'm gonna need something a little bit more solid than a neutral Life Orb Outrage in order to take it out, especially coming from an Altaria. Not that this thing doesn't have a decent attack, but it's just so bulky. So get the 2-turn Outrage, which is really nice. If I got the 3-turn Outrage, then I wouldn't have had the opportunity to roost on this thing. But I'm actually going to go ahead and end up roosting right now, despite the risk of the confusion, you know. And it's just because I don't want to take the Stealth Rocks damage and be at a really low range and end up having Death Water. Now I'm at full HP and I don't take as much damage from Volt Switch. Not that this thing is really going to end up doing that much damage, but look at that, you know, it's not that much off my back as he decides to Volt Switch out. Plus I get an answer on his next turn and I get to get rid of the Perish Song. So Garbodor comes in. As tempting as it is to just go for an Earthquake now and take it out, I do really want my Altaria in case this Mischievous does have status moves, because the Natural Cure is basically the only thing I'm going to have to use as status fodder. So I decided to go out into War Turtle right now, and he ends up making a double switch and decides to go out into his Ludicolo, and I'm kind of scared of this thing, but it's because that he probably anticipates that I'm kind of scared of this thing. I could go into my own Ludicolo to take one of its hits, but I'm going to make a pretty ballsy play here. This definitely could have cost me a lot, but I was predicting the Giga Drain, and he ends up going for Surf, I guess expecting either my Magmortar or my Swallow to come in, so that kind of makes sense there. But I'm gonna go for Scald, hoping for the burn. I get it. I definitely should have gone for the Toxic here, though, seeing as how it has lefties instead of Life Orb. I'm running like a really hyper offensive set where it's got Rain Dance and 3 attacking moves, except instead of having Surf, it has Hydro Pump, because I really want like really good damage output out of that thing. I know how much havoc this thing can, you know, bring in this tier. So I am predicting the Giga Drain right now, so I decided to go out into Cradle unfortunately. It was either that or the Surf. This thing is fairly special defensive, so it's not like a Giga Drain, especially from a lefty's Ludicolo, is gonna hurt that bad. That, and I can kind of stall out a little bit of turns with Recover. This is gonna be a really slow portion of the game if he does decide to, if we both decide to stay in. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch out right now. I decide to go into my Mortar. I know he's not gonna go for the Surf because I have the Storm Drain, so he can go for the Giga Drain or the Ice Beam. Both of those are resisted hits, and thankfully he decides to go for the Unstab one just to try to get some super effective damage. And because he doesn't have the Rain Dance, I don't have to worry about Swift Swim or anything like that. I still don't know the rest of his set. I know he's got Surf, Giga Drain, Ice Beam. I don't know what that fourth move is. It could be Rain Dance for all we know. You know, I like running lefties on my sweepers at times too. But I kind of figured that with Life Orb and Giga Drain, you know, you kind of just... they kind of cancel each other out depending on the situation. But I decided to go for Flamethrower right here just to try to get some solid damage, and I've already missed Focus Blast once in this game. I don't want it to end up happening a second time. I do get the burn on this thing, so I figure maybe at the end of the turn, even if I don't manage to kill it off, I can you know, it'll end up dying there. Now, the problem is I don't kill it off. I really would have liked my Magmortar, if not for Death Fodder, for at least one more good Scarfed hit. So the fact that I lost it here is going to be a little bit annoying. But he is at a pretty low amount of HP, and this actually gives me a really good window of opportunity to go into my Ludicolo right now. And if he wants to switch this thing out, it'll end up dying to Rocks on the switch-in. But I'm going to go for the Rain Dance, and that's going to give me 5 turns, you know, to be able to just do a fuck ton of damage with Hydro Pump, outspeed everything thanks to the doubled speed owing to Swift Swim. And, you know, I got Giga Drain, I got Hydro Pump, I got Ice Beam. I should be pretty good. I was going to switch in his Ludicolo, and you're going to see the damage output differences are going to be a little bit different, especially because, you know, I got Life Orb. I don't know if he's running Modest or Timid, or if he even has Rain Dance on his set for that matter, but my Giga Drain does a pretty hefty chunk, and I think his is going to do a little bit less, so I'm probably at around the same amount of HP after I took the Volt switch from earlier, and his does a little bit less. So the problem is I did end up going first. I don't know if that's because he doesn't have Swift Swim or what, but I'm gonna be able to take him out with another Giga Drain. No, I'm not, just kidding. This is the part of the game where I start to forget what kind of shit happened. He switches out to Garbodor, you know, ends up making a fairly good play to resist the Giga Drain, and he's just trying to stall out my rain turns at this point. I wish I could set it up again, but I'm not gonna get another good opportunity like I did there. So what I can do right now is go for the Hydro Pump, because I want to take this out. I don't want to risk taking a Gunk Shot, or, you know, just end up taking a Poison Jab in general. So I gotta take this thing out. I'm not gonna go for an Ice Beam at that range of HP, and, you know, you run Hydro Pump for, like, the good damage, and if it misses, it misses. That's your fucking fault for running it. I definitely could be running Surf, but Hydro Pump just definitely ensures those kills. Here, this play, like, was really stupid of me. I don't know why he sent in this line, and it made sense after I hit the button. I was like, oh, damn it, he's Choice Banded, shit. So, that definitely explains the damage output, because this thing really doesn't have a high attacking stat by itself, so I was kind of expecting to live that hit. But, I mean, I know it's stab and everything, but half HP Ludicolo, it's not exactly the most fragile thing in the world. And now he uses his Probopass as Death Fodder, which was kind of interesting. It was kind of obvious what I was going to do on the switch anyway, because, you know, he was going to end up being locked on E-Speed. If he wanted to stay in E-Speed just to gauge damage, that's fine. I was going to recover anyway. So, he ends up going down to Mischievous, and this thing is really low on HP. So, I don't know why I didn't, like, save Magmortar, like, back then, because it would have come in on the Stealth Rocks, and it just would have been at, like, around the same amount of HP. They would have both been in the red, and I could have taken him out next turn with the Flamethrower, done some decent damage to things with Flamethrower. So I'm really kicking myself, like, for letting that thing die when I did right there. I shouldn't have risked it against Probopass, and it's because of that I don't have anything that's really, I think, like, for sure faster other than my Swellow. I think the main problem with this game is I end up letting faster things die before I can deal with Mischievous, and then, you know, the thing can Pain Split, and then we see Heal Bell here. So Ludicolo's all healed up, and right here, the Brave Bird was a little obvious too. So I'm making mistakes left and right that I don't think are really going to hurt me in the long run, but, you know, I just end up killing myself off to Recoil right here, and on top of that, the thing doesn't even die. So that Focus Blast I missed earlier, Focus Blast definitely would have done about that much, and, you know, it would have ended up that I took less recoil. It probably would have died to burn damage at the end too, but still just a talking point. Definitely could have gone for Facade there, so I don't know what I was thinking. On top of that, this thing is still alive, but I'm going to go ahead and set up a Dragon Dance in its face, because I don't remember whether or not this thing gets any ice moves. I am actually going to be immune to Waterfall and the Earthquake, but you can see that he gets Rock Slide right there. It doesn't end up killing me off there, which is good, just because he's not boosted or anything, and he's lefties instead of Life Orb. I run a Life Orb one, so what do we got going on? I'm going to go for the Earthquake, because I don't want to be locked in on Outrage, and I'm kind of hoping he's going to send in Mischievous after this, but the very obvious thing is he still has Lion around, and that's just really fucking annoying, goddamn. So, I'm going to go ahead and switch out, decide to go into my Cradley again, just because, you know, Rock type and taking the E-Speeds and shit, and I'm really glad I went for the Recover, otherwise I wouldn't have been at this range of HP, and I probably would have ended up losing the match here. So, what do we got going on? So, after this, I'm kind of at a range where maybe he thinks he can take me out with E-Speed. He might as well try to go for it. But the thing is like, after lefties, it's for sure that I'm going to go ahead and live it, so I decide to go for the Recover. And I think I end up recovering again or going for the Toxic on the switch. Now, even though Mischievous has Heal Bell doesn't really have a high amount of HP, I think it's Aromatherapy that has a low one, never mind. Or maybe Heal Bell does have 8. I think Heal Bell has 8, but gonna go for the Toxic anyway on the Ludicolo as it comes in. If I went for it on the Mischievous, that would be pretty cool and everything, but hey, you know, this thing's gonna come in. It can't really do shit to me aside from Ice Beam anyways, and I can just very easily stall this thing out. And that's why this game is so long, because there's a lot of status conditions on both of our behalves, I guess. Mainly on mine, because I've been getting burns and, like, poisons left and right, I guess. Well, not really so many poisons, you'll see in a little bit. But I think he went for, I don't remember what he went for there, but I'm going to go ahead and go for a Recover. And just stall this thing out. This is actually a good point to catch my breath. Whew, man, what a long-ass game. Okay, let's play some catch-up. I think he's gonna die to Toxic on this turn, but he's gonna end up going for another Ice Beam as I go for another Recover. Things gonna end up being pretty pointless in general. No, I didn't go for another Recover. I should have. I definitely should have, but I just ended up going for a Rock Slide here. If I just had the patience to do that, I don't know why I didn't, but it's because of that I'm at like 75% HP, and that actually will end up mattering a little bit later. But he's gonna go for the Switcheroo, finally dumps his Choice Band on me. I believe on the turn that I go for a Recover, so I should have just gone for the fucking Rock Slide, because now I have to switch out to switch up moves, because I think all I have are this and Altaria. I wasn't able to blow away the rock, so that Altaria is gonna die, but it's kind of good. I mean, if there's a silver lining to that situation, it means I can switch out to something as Death Fodder and then go back into Cradley in order to switch up moves, which is gonna end up being Rock Slide everything until I die, and then hope that it kind of works out from there. So, I end up going for another Recover on the off chance that he decides to stay in for whatever reason, and he doesn't. Oh, you know what? I still have War Turtle alive. That's right. I totally forgot about this, but it's not really going to end up living much longer, because I can go for Toxic on this thing and go for Scald on this thing all I want. But the thing is I'm not really going to end up benefiting too much from it, especially because it still has Heal Bell. Shadow Ball's doing a pretty decent chunk too, and he gets a Spit F drop here. Not that it really ends up mattering too much, I guess. I tried to go for the Scald here to get the burn, as opposed to the Toxic, and you know, just try to get a little bit of damage. And I think I Protect on this turn just to try to get back up to a range where I think maybe I can live another Shadow Ball. And I was like, alright, you know, the last one did like 80. If this next one does less than 120, I should be okay. I don't know how much the stage drop is going to matter. But it turns out I don't live it outright, and I lose my spinner. Not that I was really going to get the opportunity to spin, because this thing is still alive, and it's pissing me off. But I'm going to go into my Cradley here, and I think just try to go for some Rock Slides, but he ends up fucking Pain Splitting. God damn it, that's really fucking annoying. But I can't do shit about it. Oh, no, wait, that's right, I go for the Toxic, because this thing just really does not die. Goes for another Heal Bell. Fuck your goddamn Heal Bell. I'm gonna go for another Toxic, and you can go ahead and run out your Heal Bell PP. I think that was kind of the strategy I had at this point, and I believe he decided to go out into to Line right here. Now I need to keep my Cradley at a decent amount of HP, regardless of the amount of Pain Splits he has, just because reasons. Oh man, I really lost my steam in this narration. God damn. Okay, so switching out now, I decided to go into my Altaria just as Death Fodder, and to go ahead and rack up another turn of poison damage, and also to switch up moves to go for the Rock Slide, as I previously mentioned, just to go ahead and try to change things up until I die. But he got my lefties, so Toxic damage isn't really going to be doing a whole hell of a lot to him. But Linoon is paper thin. If there's something you're going to keep in mind in lower tiers when you use this thing, if you're going to try the Belly Drum set, you better make sure that you have a safe opportunity to use it, which is why I think he's running the Choice Bandit set. It just lets it do some more damage, you know, right out the gate. Now right there, as you can see with the amount of HP, I don't know if the Pain Split really ended up mattering overall from a couple turns ago, and the recover from even more turns ago. But I'm at a range of HP where I'm not going to be able to take 2 Shadow Balls, so after I go for the Choice Banded Rock Slide, even though it's stab, it's not going to be enough because that thing is so damn bulky. If I had maybe like 30 more HP from all the damage I ended up taking on the last couple of turns, I maybe could have won this one with poison damage too, but he's just going to go ahead and take me out with another Shadow Ball, leaving him with the fairly narrow 1-0 victory. Probably would have taken one more turn of toxic damage to take him out as well. I guess that's my fault for bringing all those Rock Weak pokes and not really having an answer for Mischievous outside of, I guess, I had some fast things, like potentially fast things. I had Magmortar and Ludicolo. I definitely should have kept those things around, but I don't know why I didn't. I played kind of stupid, and it ended up biting me in the ass at the end. But I still had a really fun time, just because, you know, it was a long ass game and it was a close result too. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you're welcome to leave a like rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. Sorry if this narration really wasn't up to par. You narrate for like 16 minutes. I think it's 16 minutes now, and you know, you kind of lose track of what's happening, especially when a game as long as this. I'm probably gonna upload this around the same time that I'm streaming, or maybe publish it afterwards, so I guess just keep an eye out on your sub boxes and stuff like that. I got Penumbra for sure coming up later tonight. For those of you that have been waiting for that, that's gonna be uploaded or published, I think at like 10 p.m. is when I set it for. And Penumbra is going to be a weekend thing, so if you're not really a fan of Pokemon TCG2, I do have that going on. I'm going to have 2 LPs running at the same time, so just to let you know. Anyways, that'll do it, and I will see you guys on Monday.